Hey, Sean, a lot of people have seen this video from the Outdoors podcast. The guy Aj is like talking about what is the best coffee mug, and he's wrong. And what he talks about is the Yeti Rambler 16 ounce with the hot shot lid is like the ultimate coffee cup or travel mug. And I'm here to tell you he's wrong, and I'm gonna show you why. First, the other mugs that we can talk about. This is a Yeti, but I think all the other companies make one like this, where it's a traditional coffee mug shape, but this is a double-walled, vacuum-insulated mug. And these are stupid. And these are stupid for two reasons. One, because they don't actually keep anything warm. It's so much surface area on the top. These things are so wide that so much heat escapes out of the top where heat rises that it doesn't matter if your bottom's insulated. Unless you're setting it in snow, this isn't going to make that much of a difference. It's also a huge waste of resources. Just have a ceramic cup, which is clay. But this is this double-walled process, whatever. But then also, when this does get cold, you can't put it in the microwave because it's metal. And so this is a useless mug. It is not leak-proof, even with the little magnetic piece on top of the lid. This is a bad mug, and it's not gonna work for you. I agree with Aj's classification of that. Next up is, this is a more in line with what he's talking about. This isn't the Yeti Rambler, but this is one of their bigger mugs. Same kind of lid, and I think most of their lids are interchangeable. But double-walled insulated, these things are too big for a cup holder. They don't fit in the cup holder, and the lids aren't leak-proof. But my problem with what Aj was talking about is that the hot shot lid, he's saying the hot shot lid is the way to go. Here's the problem with the hot shot lid. When you're doing awesome stuff, the hot shot lid still takes two hands to operate. You have to hold it, and then you screw it open. You screw it open with your hand. Your other hand has to keep it from spinning. If you try to screw it with one hand, the whole thing's just gonna spin. It's not gonna unscrew. And so if you wanna drink coffee, you gotta unscrew it. And if you want it to be leak-proof, you gotta screw it back on again. Now this is fine, I guess, if you're sitting inside reading a book, but if you're doing stuff like degreasing engines or building model airplanes or I don't know, other cool stuff, that riding dirt bikes, like I do, you don't want to be unscrewing your cap with two hands every time. You're going to get engine degreaser all over your coffee, and that's going to ruin it. And so you want a one-handed operation, and the hot shot lid just ain't it. And so we're going to get rid of Yeti. This is a mug by a company called Fellow, and this has this innovative lid where with one finger you can push it back and it opens up, but this doesn't just cover it. Inside there's a mechanism that seals it from the bottom. So this is completely leak-proof. You can hear there's stuff in there now. It's old coffee from 2 days ago. But you can slide it open with one hand. Pretty easy operation, but it's still kind of awkward with that thumb up there. There is a better solution than this. And I used to have this wonderful Stanley mug with this trigger. And you pull the trigger, and open this little thing, take a sip, and when you let go of the trigger, it's leak-proof again. And unfortunately, after 12 years of this wonderful mug, the rubber gasket on it failed and they don't make it anymore. So I was looking for what is a cup, and I watched Aj's video on Outdoor Podcast and to see what is the best thing, but I don't want this two-handed thing. I don't want to be driving along and have to, while I'm driving and texting and all the other things, use two hands to unscrew it. It's not safe. I want something one-handed, and everything's too big. These things don't fit in cup holders. This one doesn't really fit in cup holders. I have a baby that I push around in a stroller, and the stroller cup holders are like a standard size. None of these fit in that. None of the mugs fit in these things. And the other problem is they're designed to keep your coffee warm for days. I'm sure the Yeti Rambler with the hot shot lid will keep your coffee warm for 6 hours. Who does that? Who does that? Unless this guy on Outdoors Podcast is driving across the country, brewing his coffee in Florida and not drinking it till he gets to Arizona, there's no reason to have your insulation last for hours and hours. You need your coffee to stay warm for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You need to brew it, you can survive the car ride, get to where you're going, whatever. That's all you need. And I found what I think is the perfect mug, and it is this. Oh. Seems it was just inside these little pieces of tape. This is the Stanley Aero Transit. And this thing is tiny. I mean, you can see it next to these other mugs. It hides behind them. Where's the mug? Ta-da, it's back here. These things are tiny. And what I have found is that this will keep my coffee warm for almost 2 hours. if I'm actively drinking out of it, almost 2 hours. If I'm keeping it closed, it'll keep it warm for about 2.5, 3 hours, which is pretty good. And for me, again, I'm making my coffee and I'm drinking it. I'm not driving across the country. I'm not in the Antarctic brewing my coffee at the base station and then hiking 4 miles through the sub-zero temperatures and then drinking next to a penguin. I need something that stays warm in my car during a cold winter morning. And this is fantastic. And it fits in every cup holder because it's tiny. And here's the kicker. It has a lid that you can click open, and it clicks up if you want a quick sip, or you can fold it all the way back and you're not getting any engine degreaser on the lip there. You can pop it open, pop it closed. I know that there's a whole bunch of Stanley stands right now, and there's some massive thing to keep water cold for a year or something. This isn't that. And I was a Stanley mug user before all that happened, and I miss my dear Trigger mug with every day. I miss it. But since then, I've tried a few mugs, and the only thing that has been as close to perfect so far is this Stanley Aero Transit. And it's dishwasher safe, all the parts, and it's easy to clean the lid. This guy, bless its heart, the lid comes apart into like 4 pieces. You have to open it and spring load this stuff. It's a pain to clean. This one, you can unscrew it. This thing, you just open it and you throw it in the dishwasher, and it's open enough where it gets all cleaned out, and you're good to go. And there's a little bit of water in there right now. Just leaked on my hands. Leak proof. I don't know what else you could want. So forget what you heard on Outdoors Podcast and what that Adge dude was saying. I think that the best mug ever made right now, still available, is the Stanley Aero Transit mug. And I really hope I'm getting the name right. So that's all I got. I do have to say as a disclaimer, I'm not paid by anyone to do this, but I do know AJ from Outdoors Podcast really well. And I'm a big fan of his, and he's a dear friend of mine. He and I have gone on trips together and created content together, and I think what he does is brilliant, and I love following his channel. And you should follow his channel too, Outdoors Podcast. He does a bunch of cool shorts as he drives across the country, him and his wife, and it's just awesome content and what they're doing, what they're discovering, and how he's sort of mixing this very futuristic life with cybersecurity consultation and living on the road in the middle of nowhere, and walking in both worlds is really neat how he finds that balance. So check out his channel, give him a like, give him a follow, go find his mug, and try which one you think is best. It's a coffee mug. Doesn't actually matter. That's all I got. Have a great day or night or whatever, wherever. See you later. Bye.